welcome to Harrison Hacks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Harrison Hacks. Today it's just a quick little tips and tricks video for my Arcade Classic Edition release. This mostly concerns bezels. If you were to add a new game that doesn't have a bezel in there, you can use a generic one that I've left available. Also, if you want to change your bezels and modify the screen size in any way, you can do that as well. So let's say, I'll show you how to stretch out the bezel or shrink the bezel, whichever way you want to go about it. Let's say Metal Slug 5, and let's just say that it's not fitting the screen correctly. So I'm not sure if you have different resolutions, if you have to change the bezels or not, the way that the screen size is. I'm doing this on my laptop, which is 1366 by 768. I'm not sure if it affects it based on resolution or not, but we'll find out. So this one here, I can definitely tell that the bottom is missing. So what I'd want to do here is just press P on my keyboard so it has some color to it still. And we're going to go ahead and press Tab. And we'll go to Slider Controls. So you can go down to Slider Controls, press Enter. And let's do the vertical position. So if you press right, it usually moves you down. So you can see at the top we've lost it. So now we're at the top. Let's press Tab. So we're a little too far. So I'm going to unpause the game. This is just trial and error. There's really no other way to do this. So you can see there's the game screen, and we're missing a little bit of the bottom. So let's do Tab, vertical stretch. So I'm going to press left to shrink it a little bit. Press Tab. No, I'll go a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that looks pretty good. I mean, it is going to cut it off a little bit because the screen is shrunk. I can move up actually a little bit. So I'm going to pause it there so I have color. And we'll go to position. I'm going to move it up. Tab. There we go. So that looks better. So what you would do then is just hit escape on your keyboard. And there you go. If you want to do exit hotkey, there's two different ways. So if you press Tab within attract mode here, you can go to emulators, MAME, and here's your exit hotkey. So whatever button or buttons you push at once while it's waiting, then that'll be your exit. So I like to use select and down. So I'll do select and down. You can see there I've got, well, mine's point of view Y negative plus joy button 6, but that's my select and down. So now if I were to launch that game, so I don't have this controller set up, but I can do input general, other controls, player 1 start will be my start button, and coin 1, whoops, I pressed the Xbox button there. Coin 1, we'll do select. There we go. Press Tab. So there you go. If I press select and down, I'm back into the menu. So I'm pretty sure I showed that in the initial video, but just wanted to reiterate that. The other way you could do it is, I'm going to use a different method. So if, let's say I wanted to use my right thumbstick, I would launch a game. it takes a little bit to launch just when I'm recording. So I'm going to use my R3 button on this as an example. So I'll press Tab, and I'm going to go to Input General, User Interface, and if we scroll down to UI Cancel, I have it as Keyboard Escape. So I'm going to press Enter, press R3, and then I'm also going to press Enter again and press Escape, so that I have the option. So I can use the keyboard or the controller. Now we'll go back, and instead of pressing Select and down, I can press R3, just like a button, and move on. So it's your preference if you want attract mode to close the emulator or if you want MAME to close itself, depending on how you want to set the buttons. Totally up to you. The other thing was I showed you the bezel stretching, and you can excuse me, you can modify that to your liking. The other thing I want to show you guys is, let's say you add a new game and there's no bezel for it. So we're going to exit out, and I've got some ROMs over here from my Hyper Arcade build. So let's go into, we're in the Arcade Classic Edition folder. We're going to go to MAME, ROMs, and for the demonstration purposes I'll add Alex Kidd, copy, paste. I'm going to close that out. So I'll go back to Arcade Classic Edition. So if I go to start up Alex Kidd, there we go. I'll launch it, and I know there's no bezel for it, so I'm just going to launch it and show you like it's going to launch normally, no bezel work, no nothing. So there it is. So let's exit out, and we're going to go back into our main folder, go into your artwork folder, and scroll down till you get to generic. So it's a horizontal game, it's not a vertical game, it's horizontal. Generic horizontal, right click, copy, paste, and we're going to want to name it the same as the ROM. So if we go into ROMs, whoops, and there is Alex Kidd, so I'm just going to copy the name of it, back into artwork, find where we had copied the generic horizontal copy, paste. Now it's renamed to Alex Kidd, and now we just need to set it up. So we'll launch it. And there we go. So you can edit it if you want. I mean, if I press tab, we'll go back to slider controls, and let's go to horizontal stretch, make sure everything's good. So it was a little wider than it should have been, so I like it like that. Now I'm gonna do vertical stretch, and you can see we're getting a little too far, so I'm gonna go right there, press tab, and I like the way that looks. So when you're setting up your bezels, I recommend exiting with your MAME exit hotkey. And the reason being is it's saved it as far as what I've seen. Now I'm going to do the select and down thing now, and I'm going to relaunch it and see if that saves it too. It's actually something I haven't tested. I'm going to test it during this video, because that has attract mode, kill the MAME emulator. So it looks to me like it didn't save it. So let's just find out here. So tab, slider controls, and let's just see. I'll know right away. Whoops, not the position. So it didn't save it. If you exit through attract mode, that's fine if you're just exiting your game to play another game. If you're doing the bezel setup, then I would use your MAME exit hotkey. So it's escape on your keyboard or whatever you assigned it to um, on your controller. So I did R3. So I'm going to exit with R3 and let's launch it and see if it stays intact. And it did this time. I'll just show you here. Press tab. Slider controls. Video's going a little longer than I wanted, but I just want to make sure that you guys are good with this. See, so it's perfect. It was already spot on. I think I had it at 974. Yeah. So it did save. Press tab to go out. And when you press tab again, you're still in the sliders. So as you're modifying, you just press tab. Oh no, I don't like the way that looks. I'll press tab and change it up. Okay, that's good. So make sure when you're stretching or shrinking your bezels, whenever you're messing with the bezels and the screen size, to exit through the main hotkey exit and not the attract mode exit hotkey setup. I hope everybody's getting all this. I'm trying to explain it the best I can here. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any more questions, I'll definitely try and answer you. I did have a question about adding Daphne to this, and it would take some artwork and some configurations and getting your Daphne emulator all set up and so on. And that goes for anything. It's just I won't be doing any add-ons for this build. I basically just wanted to do a nice small build, nice and light for everybody. But again, I mean, Alex the Kid wasn't there. I added it. It populates right in the menu. So I wanted to keep it set up like that for you guys so you could just add it if you want. And then when you're scrolling through, I mean, press select and you've added to favorites. You can go to filters, press A or B. There you go. Or you can remove it by pressing select again. I'm pretty sure I covered all the questions, but yeah, I won't be doing any add-ons for the build, and it's just because it's just nice, small, lightweight, and it's just a bunch of classics. I mean, it's the Arcade Classic Edition. You know, I wanted to keep it small. I didn't do like 21 games like the SNES Classic. I went a little more than that, but I just wanted to put some of my favorites in there, and I think they're the all-time favorites for the most part. And then add that Root Beer Tapper Simpsons Edition hack, just because, you know, like Star Fox 2 was a special treat. So here you go. Here's Root Beer Tapper Simpsons Edition. Maybe I'm the only one that enjoys it, but you know, it's just a little something I wanted to put in there because I actually played this edition of Tapper more than the originals, believe it or not, because you know it's Mo and all them. So I hope this helped you guys out. You know, same as always, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, enjoy the build, and most importantly, have a good day.